Welcome back. For this week's Staff Spotlight, reporter Hollie Proctor caught up with Rachel Roberts, the adjunct professor of theater.
Rachel Roberts is the acting instructor for the Baker Theater Department. In the fall of 2006, while teaching at the Coterie, a children's theater in Kansas City, Roberts was recommended by a colleague to teach an acting workshop at Baker.
So they hired me to teach a workshop, and I kind of bugged them a little bit and asked if they ever needed an acting teacher to let me know.
Soon the honorary theater fraternity, Alpha Psi Omega, asked her to be a guest director for a production.
And lo and behold, they needed an adjunct for the following year, and so I came in and I directed a show. I directed Blithe Spirit and taught some classes, and now I'm 3/4 time or super adjunct. I haven't gotten my cape yet, but I'm super adjunct, and this will be my 3rd year at Baker.
Roberts also teaches at various theaters and dabs into acting in the Kansas City area.
I was teaching for the Coterie and a little for the Rep and a little bit the Kansas City Repertory Theater and a little for the Shakespeare Festival. And so I still teach for them whenever time allows. And I'm part of the Actors Equity Association. And so I've been in 3 shows at the Unicorn in the last year. And before that, just some what we would call off-Broadway shows or non-professional gigs or things like that, non-equity shows.
While directing the Alpha Psi Omega production of Reverse Psychology, Roberts is also directing a production at the Coterie in Kansas City. This summer, she'll be taking over the Director of Education at the Heart of America Shakespeare Festival. I'm Hollie Proctor, KNBU.
Thanks for that, Hollie.
I heard the boys are on location this week for What's Bugging Us. Let's check it out.
Welcome to the favorite part of Orangeline, the What's Bugging Us segment. Alex Dingman here with the newbie, Chris Smith. It's your first time. Are you scared?
I am an amateur. Very nervous.
Yeah, don't be worried. I will guide you through this.
Good.
It'll be a great experience for both of us, and neither one of us will ever forget it.
That's terrifying.
We're here at Collins Library, and we're here at the front of Collins Library.
Is it the front of Collins Library, Ding?
That does raise a question, because it seems to be, because you would figure it is facing the street. Therefore, it should be probably the most easily accessible in the front.
Giant sign, giant Collins Library label. Sign that says library.
It's a little deceiving. We actually marked it off, and it takes 122 steps to get to the actual entrance of the library from the street. So picture yourself, all right? It's raining, you got papers, you're already upset. It's 1 in the morning because you haven't started yet. We've all been there. And now you have to walk 122 steps when it should take about 24, and that's just easy math, and it adds up to a big pain in my booty.
Well, it's crazy because people park along this area right here, yet the entrance is over there. Sure, it's accessible for the people that live on campus, but what about us? What about the people that don't live on campus?
Yeah, I don't think they were thinking about us.
No.
So it is slightly upsetting.
Poor design, Baker.
I think they need to put some sort of entrance into the library.
Like a door?
Somewhere around where it says Collins Library. I mean, if I could get in here to do my homework, I'd probably be more willing to do it. But when I'm thinking to myself, there's 122 steps for me to go to actually do the homework, probably not going to take that walk. If it was sub 30, I'd think about it.
I know that the no street access affects my GPA.
Yeah, and you know, we're living in Kansas. It's April. This is actually probably the first real nice day here in April, and you know, there's a lot of times in the winter it's snowing, there's blizzards, it's raining, you know, and then you got to walk all the way from the street to the front, and you know what, that's just bugging me.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Picture this. You're a girl. You're not big burly men like us. You're a small girl in the middle of the night trying to get into the library. You have to make that walk 122 feet alone.
It's terrifying.
We don't know what could happen.
Do they explain that to parents when they get to campus for the first time? By the way, there's 122 steps from the street to the actual entrance of the library. Just ignore the Collins Library sign and the fact that it seems like this is the front, because this is actually the back. And there is no entrance in the back. And that is upsetting.
That's all we got.
So that's what's bugging us this
Back
week.
to you guys.
Good job, Smitty.
Thank you.
It was good for both of us.
Welcome back. Before we go to sports chat, Kelsey Epperson took a look at the bad weather and how that's been affecting spring sports.
The spring weather hasn't brought anything but cancellations for the Baker University spring sports. In fact, each sport has experienced delays and limited practicing because of the conditions. The Wildcat baseball team has been lucky enough to sneak all of their scheduled conference games in. However, the Cats lost a home game due to wet field conditions and drove down the road to Mid-America Nazarene to use the school's field. Cold weather, rain, and snow have all limited outdoor practice time for Baker, and the team has also spent its fair share of time moving its tarp on and off the infield. The Baker softball team has not been so lucky. In fact, not one bit. The team played its first conference doubleheader of the season this past weekend and must get 8 doubleheaders in by April 21st. That's 16 games to play in just over 2 weeks. Head coach Jennifer Rigdon was forced to cancel 2 non-conference contests in order to fit postponed conference games into the schedule in time. Like the baseball team, the Wildcats have spent many days moving its tarp on and off the infield and also have been practicing indoors due to bad conditions. Bad weather has taken a toll on the Baker men's golf team, track and field team, and the tennis team, as all squads have seen limited outdoor practices. The golf team's spring debut was canceled last weekend, the track and field team's Baker Invitational was postponed from a weekend event to a Monday evening, and the tennis teams have made cancellations because of the bad weather. As we now move into April, the spring sports can only cross their fingers that Mother Nature takes a turn to the sun and warmth so the Wildcats can carry on their spring seasons. This has been Kelsey Epperson, KNBU TV.
Hi, and welcome back to the sports segment of Orangeline. I'm Chris Smith alongside Alex Dingman. We're here in front of President Pat Long's house.
That's right.
She's the new athletic director, so we're going to kick off sports from here. Alex, let's start off talking about a little baseball.
Sure, we got the baseball team right now, 14-17 overall, but 11-11 in conference play. They just split a couple doubleheaders with Mid-America last week. Now they have a home game against William Jewell on Friday. But this team with 5 players batting over 300, led by Brandon Truitt. He's batting .420. He's also got 4 home runs. That was a very large truck. Chad Griffin has 5 home runs this season, and Vidal Nino with 6 wins, but the only pitcher with an ERA under 4, maybe a possible reason why they're 3 games under 500, but 11-11 in conference play, sitting there in a pretty good spot, and they can help their cause out Friday against William Jewell. Go out there and support the team. Another team that's in need of some support is the softball team because they've lost 4 or 5.
Right, yeah, they've lost a couple here in a row, but had a really tough series against Evangel. They took them to 11 innings, who is the traditional powerhouse in the HAC, are the Evangel Crusaders. So that was certainly an encouraging sign. Also another encouraging sign, Chelsea Taylor back on the hill. She's recovered from her meniscus surgery. She took the mound against Evangel, provided some key innings, and we'll look for her to keep improving and getting back to full form as the season progresses. But they're right in the middle of HAC play. One other dilemma the softball team faces right now is the weather. The inclement weather has canceled several of the softball team's games already. They have roughly an entire conference season to make up in just 18 games. So the softball women will be busy. Go out and make sure that you support them in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, and the next about week and a half, they have their rest of their home games, and they actually finish on the road about 4 in a row, I believe. So go check them out while you still can.
Sure.
And also big news, Tanner Purdom, a former player here for the Baker Wildcats, a 4-time letterman here at Baker, and now he's playing on the Kansas City Chiefs. So congratulations to him, doing big things, and really that just helps out the motivation for other players, younger players coming up here, because you can make the jump from Baker to the pro level, and he is really proving it.
Sure, what a great thing that is for Coach Grosser and his staff to be able to say that they've produced an NFL player. That will certainly be a great recruiting tool for them in the future. So congratulations to the entire football program.
Absolutely. Alex Dingman, Chris Smith, back to you.
Thanks for the sports, Alex and Chris. That concludes our show. I'm Rena Murphy.
And I'm Jessica Mulvaney. Have a good Easter break, and we'll see you back here next week.